Well, hello there. I'm Gemini. That battery can last up to 24 hours even with the always-on display turned on. It's pretty cool.
So, the new Punch has the most powerful engine in its class. Big deal, right? Well, honestly, that's not the reason you should buy it. In fact, it's not even the main story here.
All right, let's do something different. We're going to skip right to the end. I'm giving you the decision summary first, because your time is valuable and you need to know if this car is even worth considering. So, let's cut to the chase. Who should be buying this car? Well, if you're a first-time buyer, maybe a small family, and you believe safety shouldn't be a luxury, something you get right from the base model, then yeah, the Punch should be right at the top of your list. It's also fantastic if you live in an area with, let's be honest, terrible roads and the occasional waterlogging. Now, who should probably walk away? If you're looking at the CNG version and need to haul a lot of luggage for the family, this just isn't going to work. And this is a big one. If you want that super smooth, refined automatic experience in city traffic, the AMT and the Punch, well, it's just not that. It's a compromise you have to be okay with.
Okay, so what's the single biggest upgrade here? It's simple. Safety is now standard. 6 airbags, ESP, the whole deal. That's a huge step forward. And of course, having that turbo petrol option is a game changer for anyone who does a lot of highway driving. But what's the biggest concern that's still lingering? It really comes down to the powertrain. The AMT, while it gets the job done, still has that, that head nod feel when it shifts gears. It's not a true smooth automatic. And the regular engine, it's fine for the city, absolutely. But get it on the highway and try to overtake someone, and you're going to hear it working really, really hard.
All right, with that verdict out of the way, let's dive a little deeper. We'll start with what you see first, the design, and how practical this car actually is day to day. So, what's new on the outside? Well, the front end is definitely bolder, more assertive. You can see it in the new light signature and the bumpers. They just give it a tougher, more robust SUV vibe. Those new 16-inch wheels also help it stand more upright, giving it that muscular stance. Look, it's not a complete overhaul, it's more of an evolution, but it absolutely makes the car feel more current and solid when you see it on the road. But the real story here isn't just about looks, it's about how this thing is built for our roads. I mean, look at these numbers. The ground clearance is best in segment. What does that mean? It means you can finally stop worrying about scraping the bottom on those ridiculously huge speed breakers. And this 400mm water weighting, that's pure peace of mind when the monsoons hit. But honestly, my favorite feature, and one people always overlook, is this. The doors open a full 90 degrees. That might not sound like a big deal, but if you're helping your parents get in or trying to fit a child seat, trust me, it's a lifesaver.
Okay, let's talk boot space. In the petrol version, you're looking at 366 liters, and that's a really solid, practical number. You can easily fit a couple of suitcases for a weekend trip, no problem. Now, I want you to burn that number into your brain, 366 liters, because in just a minute, we're going to talk about the CNG model, and, well, that number is going to change a lot.
Step inside and you can see what they were going for. It's this balance between feeling a bit more elegant, a bit more premium, but without sacrificing everyday functionality. It's really designed to feel as good as it looks, Everything's where you'd expect it to be, the materials feel like the last, and it seems like they really thought about the first-time buyer who doesn't want to be intimidated by a dashboard full of crazy buttons.
And the tech they've added is not just for show. It actually solves real problems. The 360-degree surround view system, that's a sanity saver when you're trying to squeeze into a tight parking spot in the city. The big infotainment screen, it's clear, it's easy to use, and having wireless connectivity means you're not messing around with cables all the time. And things like a voice-assisted sunroof and a proper fast charger, that's stuff you usually find in more expensive cars. It all adds up to make the Punch feel a little more special. Okay, time to talk about the heart of the machine. Let's get into the engines, how it actually drives, and tackle that really important CNG question. This is where you really need to think about how you drive, because you've got two completely different options here. On one side, you have the 1.2-liter turbo petrol. This thing is the powerhouse of the segment. It's for people who spend a lot of time on the highway, who need that instant power for overtaking. On the other side, you've got the iCNG with an AMT. This is all about one thing, maximum efficiency in the city. It's built for low running costs and the convenience of an automatic in that stop-start traffic. So that's the fundamental choice. Highway power or city savings? Okay, so remember that 366-liter boot space number I told you to remember? Here's the catch. If you go for that super efficient CNG, your boot space drops to 210 liters. Now, because of Tata's clever twin-cylinder tech, it's not a total loss. You can still fit your daily groceries, but trying to pack for a family holiday, it's going to be tough. This right here is the biggest compromise you have to make for that CNG efficiency.
All right, so you've decided on the Punch, but now you're staring at a list of variants. It can be confusing, right? Let's break it down and make it simple.
Okay, let's look at this in 3 simple steps. Step 1 is the base Smart model. And the most important thing to know is that your safety essentials, 6 airbags, ESP, are already included. That's fantastic. You don't have to pay extra for safety. Now, step 2 is the Adventure variant. And honestly, this is the sweet spot for most people. It's where you get the cool stuff, like the 360 camera and the big infotainment screen. It's just a knockout in terms of value. And then you have step 3, the fully loaded version, for those who want absolutely everything, like the digital cockpit and the sunroof. But for most of us, that Adventure variant is where the smart money is.
So no car exists in a vacuum. How does the Punch actually fare against the competition? Let's put it side by side with its main rivals.
This is less about a spec sheet and more about the car's personality, and which one matches yours. Think of the Tata Punch as a genuine subcompact SUV. Its whole identity is built around safety in tackling bad roads. The trade-off is that it uses an AMT, not a true automatic. Then you have the Hyundai Extra. That's more like a really well-equipped modern hatchback. Its strength is tech and that nice cabin feel, but its suspension is a bit on the softer side. And finally, the Maruti Suzuki cars like the Swift or Ignis. They are the sporty, super efficient hatchbacks with smooth engines and great mileage. But you compromise on safety ratings and ground clearance. So the question is, are you looking for a tough little SUV, a feature-packed hatch, or a sporty mileage king?
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground. The looks, the drive, the competition. It's time to bring it all home with the final verdict. So, the final call on the Tata Punch Facelift is a solid consider. Now, notice I didn't say an automatic buy, and that's because while it's an incredibly strong contender, it's not the perfect car for absolutely everyone. But for the right person, it absolutely deserves to be on that final shortlist.
Let me break it down even further. You should buy this car if safety, a high driving position, and dealing with bad roads are your top priorities, period. You should probably avoid it if you need a big boot in a CNG car, or if you just can't live with anything less than a perfectly smooth automatic transmission. The main takeaway here is simple. The Punch isn't just a small car pretending to be an SUV anymore. It's matured. It's now a genuine, capable subcompact SUV.
In the end, what the Punch Facelift really does is it throws down a challenge. It proves that top-tier safety, with 6 airbags as standard, doesn't have to be a luxury feature you pay extra for. It can be the baseline. And that leaves us with a really important question, a question for the entire industry, really. Now that Tata has raised the bar this high, will the rest of the segment have any choice but to follow?